Scots Nation, welcome to our weekly segment of Sitting Down with the Scots. We're joined today by catcher Luke McLemore, who comes from Alcoa High School. I see you live in Friendsville, but decided to stay close to home. Talk a little
Yep.
bit and tell your fans why you chose Maryville College.
Um, well, I think that the whole college experience is really about finding where you fit in and what feels like home. And for me, in the beginning of my college, I guess decision, I always thought that I'd have to find that somewhere away from where I'm from. Like every kid wants to go away for college. Well, Maryville College kind of went under the radar for me, and then Coach Helton reached out to me, and I decided to take it toward Maryville College, right in my backyard, and ended up loving it. Came in contact with the staff and the coaches, and it just turned out to be my home away from home that really isn't that far from home at all. So it just kind of I fit in, felt like I belonged there, and really just loved it.
Tell the fans what your major is and what you aspire to do after graduation.
Yeah, my major is biology with teacher licensure, and I plan to be a biology teacher or maybe a few other subjects once I get certified for that. And I plan to coach alongside teaching.
Good. That'll help in our segment a lot because I'm going to break down some skills here in a little bit. When the spring pandemic took place, I know it was disappointing on the baseball aspect, but how did it change your academic preparation? How did you have to adapt?
Um, I think that at first everybody kind of viewed it as it was going to be easier, which would probably would have been the easy route. But I decided that instead of just taking that way, I would try to intensify. I almost feel like it made it harder for us because you had to really apply yourself to your studies. A lot of my classes, I don't know about other students, but a lot of my classes were you were given the option to show up to Zoom class. You were given the option to participate. But I really tried to delve into the material that I was learning and get the most out of my education instead of just taking the easy route. But it definitely made it difficult.
Great. Talk about your quarantine schedule. Just for sanity purposes, a lot of people have to get themselves regimented to be motivated throughout an entire day. Talk about your schedule.
Well, it really all started because I love working out. I love being fit. So my whole passion for that was really, the boost for this. But the gyms closed down, so where I was going to go work out. Luckily, my brother-in-law was developing a home gym, and I was able to come here and work out and still get my time in. So usually I wake up and I go over here and work out and get that out of the way, and then I usually go home and hang out. Whenever we were in school, I would do my academic work and focus on that, and then I guess just relax. I mean, there's not much else you can do.
How do you feel that, and I know you got some time, you're starting to develop a coaching foundation. You've got to have some principles, some things you want to lean on. How are you developing those over this time? You might want to reach back a little bit about what you learned at Alcoa and what you're learning from the coaches at Maryville College.
Yeah. So I think that one place that I've really tried to work on my coaching is developing relationships with players and with coaches. And I think that you learn that by being a player and coach at the same time. I've been given the opportunity to coach a 15U travel ball team. I coached it last year and I'm coaching it this year. And I really try to implement building a relationship with those guys because I am so young that I'm able to kind of relate with them in a way that maybe an older coach might not. And I think that at Alcoa, my coach did a great job of kind of having that relationship separate from baseball that still goes on after baseball's over. And same thing at Maryville College, our coaches are great about always being there for you on and off the field. And I think that that's a huge part as a coach because it develops not necessarily a friendship that's not respectful, but it develops a friendship that's able to last, a lifetime, really. I can always reach out to my coaches that I've had in the past. And I think that being able to kind of be a player and a coach at the same time really helps me improve that aspect of my coaching because I get to use that on my players as well.
I'm going to come back to some more sports-specific skills, but I want to talk a little bit. Once the at-home restrictions are released and you can get out and do what you want to do, what's the first thing you want to get out there and do?
I'm going to be honest with you, Etch. I've missed hanging out with friends and being able to go out to eat. You can order out all you want. You can cook all you want. That's great. But getting together with a group of guys or girls or just any of your close friends and being able to go hang out, share a meal together, that's really special. And I'm looking forward to doing that, definitely.
How are you preparing for this upcoming season?
I've always been the type of player that looks forward whenever bad things happen. And I was with one of my good teammates, Colton Hicks, whenever all this happened. And we were actually in the weight room. We were in the gym that we go to when we got the message from Bogart saying that our spring break was going to be extended, and we were kind of thinking in our heads, you know what, this is probably it. And I looked at him and I said, you know what, next season, preparing for that starts now. And I think that kind of having that mentality helps. And I've been lifting. I've been trying to do my best to get baseball work in as well, but also always thinking forward to that goal next season and having the mentality that even if I do have a fifth year, I'm not going to prepare like I have a fifth year. I'm going to prepare like this is my last year of baseball, because I'm really looking at high school seniors right now, and some of my seniors that have graduated this year, you never really know when that last game is. And I'd like to prepare for that first game of next season to be my last game ever. I'd like to prepare like that. So I've been just doing the best I can to get as much work in as I can and try to develop myself as much as possible, both as a leader, as a player, as a teammate, in order to make next season really worthwhile.
I want to talk a little bit about Coach TJ Wharton. Coach Wharton is a former catcher,
Mm-hmm.
also a offensive guru. I use those words. For the fans that don't know out there, he loves to dive into technology and a lot of data. And I'm interested to see how it has helped you develop as a player, but also develop as a future coach. I'm interested to see how this data is being received by the players.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, Coach Wharton has revolutionized Maryville College baseball program. We were good before, don't get me wrong, but the amount of technology and intelligence that he has brought to the program has been astounding. I think that the data kind of gives you motivation. It's like, okay, today I showed up at practice, first day of practice, my bat speed was 70 miles an hour. My exit velo was 86 miles an hour. Well, next time I show up, I'm going to want to be better than that. And it almost, your stats, well, what I'm trying to say is your hard work will not always be reflected when it comes to game day. You might not always hit 400. But if you're working behind the scenes and you're getting stronger, and then you increase that bat speed by like 3 miles an hour and your exit velo by 3 miles an hour, that almost reinforces in your mind a result, which makes you think, wow, I'm actually doing something. And then it motivates you even more and more. And there's not one guy on our team that hasn't seen improvements throughout the course of the year. And all that data just really serves as a motivation point, because you're like, I want to get my bat speed to this number or this number. And I think that it's just a huge motivation factor. It also lets you know where you're at as a player, and I think it's really important.
Go back to his teaching technique as a catching instructor. What have you learned as a catcher?
I thought that I knew a lot about catching, and I did, but Coach Wharton is kind of a real progressive type of coach, and catching is changing over the years, just like hitting with all the data and things like that. Coach Wharton is a real personable coach, and I think that he wants us to be the best we can be, and he's really trying to develop us as efficient catchers. Such one big change that he made to us this year is whenever there's nobody on base, and most catchers set up, low, you're not in your secondary stance, in your primary stance. Well, he said, you know what, you're not trying to throw anybody out, so why not get down on one knee? And that way you can get more pitches for strikes. Because it doesn't matter if the ball gets past you way out of the zone. That doesn't matter. All that matters is you get the most strikes, right? And I think that that's just one change out of many that he has provided to the catchers that have just been, I think, phenomenal for our improvement.
That's a progression for myself as a dinosaur coach, and I put myself in that category. I would see Yadier Molina go down on one knee, and I'm thinking, oh, he's being lazy. But he is conserving himself from future needs, saving his legs a little bit. That's why he's playing so well over an extended period of time. So I appreciate those new skills that these newer coaches are giving. I first looked at the data that they were giving as more of an paralysis by analysis sort of thing. Is how are they going to accept all this and then perform? But I actually do appreciate, like you said, it gives those daily goals and incentive to do some pretty cool things. So I appreciate that. Talk about your favorite moment to date on the Maryville College baseball field.
I'm going to be honest with you. It's kind of a heartbreaking one. But I think that my favorite moment was the Huntington series this year. Huntington is a great opponent. They've always played us really well. But in my experience at Maryville College, we've never been able to take the series. We've never been able to get 2 out of 3. Well, this year we swept them, and it wasn't by a close margin at all. And I think that we knew that we had a lot of talent, and we knew that we had a lot of good baseball players on our team. But after that series, we all kind of looked around after the game and looked at each other, and nobody really said anything, but we're kind of thinking to ourselves, you know what, we've got a chance to be something special. And although this year was cut short, I think that the players who were left behind still experience that. And that's something that gets passed down for the whole program, you know, as freshmen come in and they grow in the program. I think that Maryville College baseball is kind of turning to an era that is going to be very successful. And that game was kind of like the pivotal point for me this year, I think.
Well, I'm excited about sitting back and watching for the next few years. We're trying to bring out the personality of our guests.
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little bit in quarantine. Have you developed any skills? Can you play an instrument? Can you sing? Can you dance? What have you developed by yourself?
I've developed any. I've always loved music. I was in band whenever I was younger. I played trumpet in 5th grade, then French horn in 6th, and I learned how to play guitar over the years and play piano and things like that. So I've already had those, but one thing that I have been playing a lot is disc golf. And you may sound weird, but me and a couple buddies at Maryville College started playing at the local course there in the woods and became addicted. So I've been playing about every day, playing about 18, probably 54 holes a week, honestly. Just going out to different courses around Knoxville area and playing disc golf, just having some fun.
Fantastic. We're talking about personal skills. What have you developed over the last 2 years that coming out of high school, whether it be time management, whether it be confidence, public speaking, what have you learned through the Maryville College experience about some skills that you have attained?
I think that Maryville College really builds its students on soft skills. I don't think that's emphasized enough. A lot of the big universities you go to, they you know, it's all, you learn your major and that's it. Maryville College being liberal arts education, I feel like I've become well-rounded and well-versed in many things I didn't know about, like different cultures, different religions, things like that. And I think that one skill I've been able to learn is how to communicate with pretty much anybody, and that respectfully. I know how to have a conversation that is effective and, you know, informational with pretty much anybody, and it's respectful at the same time. And I think that that's really important, especially in our climate today. A lot of people struggle with that, but I think that that's one area that Maryville College is really working hard to develop students in.
Fantastic. Well, when we get back on campus, I'm trying to come up with a secondary segment to where you can teach the SID some of your particular sports skills. Ja'Cory Jackson's going to teach me how to be a defensive lineman. Talk to Meredith Boney. She's going to teach me how to do a kill at the net.
Mm-hmm.
I step on the baseball field in the fall. What's a particular skill you could teach me?
I'll tell you what, Etch, I was thinking about it. And you're already really good at making things look good. You know, that's just one thing you're great at. And I was thinking that with your catcher background, you said you're a little bit of a dinosaur. We might have to update you a little bit, maybe get you going one knee down, work on your receiving a little bit, kind of making it nice for the umpire. I think that'd be a good skill for you to work on.
Especially being as big as I am, I got to get nice and low. So
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that. Well, for our guests, we're basically giving them the last word in this segment, and we appreciate you sitting down and talking, and I look forward to just watching you over the next 1 or 2 years. I'm hoping it's 2.
I think that with this whole time, you know, it's important that we thank our healthcare professionals and everybody else that's surrounded us and really encourage students and everybody alike. I think that the healthcare workers are taking an immense risk and an immense responsibility to keep this whole world, you know, working during this time. And I really want to thank them and thank our coaches and teachers and staff and everybody who's making this time easier for college students and all students across the world, really. I want to encourage everybody to stay safe, of course. I mean, we're reaching the end of this thing, hopefully, but it's really important to stay safe and stay diligent about being safe. And, yeah, it's really important, I think.
Well, Luke, I'm a proud baseball player, former coach, now alum, and you just keep doing some great things for our baseball program and keep making us proud.
We are the sum total of our educations, of the experiences we have, and the lessons we learn. At Maryville College, you study everything, so you'll be prepared for anything, because life is filled with the unexpected. Wherever your path takes you, we'll make sure you're ready to lead.